Hey, soon now, the Democrat dogfight for the Golden State, California, will ultimately decide the Democrat nominee, which will be Hillary. But getting there ain't going to be easy. Now, at this point, Hillary is comfortable. One American News poll of 739 likely Democrat voters in California, Clinton, 63%, Bernie Sanders, 37%, margin of error, 4%. However, a taste of things to come. Sanders supporters in the Golden State commandeering a Clinton rally in Los Angeles.
I am so sorry we can't get you all in. I really apologize.
You're not welcome here. You're responsible for the death of Bertha Castella's. You supported the coup in Honduras. You betrayed queer rights activists. You betrayed women's rights activists in Honduras. You betrayed. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
California could turn into one giant protest during the lead up to June 7th for both the Democrats and the Republicans. In fact, it could get ugly there. In the end, however, the Democrat Party will unite around Hillary, unlike the Republican Party, which is being pulled right now in three different directions. Question is, will the Republican Party recover in time from its self-inflicted political wounds? Joining me now from our bureau in Washington, D.C., Deputy Editor at Roll Call, Shawn Z. Shawn, Roll Call did a survey, been an ongoing survey, but the most recent results of Republican aides on Capitol Hill. Now, the Republicans at one point, a few months ago, were pretty optimistic. Now that's turned to pessimistic. Why?
Because of Donald Trump. They really think Donald Trump is going to drag down representatives and senators down the ballot. And so now they're very fearful of losing the Senate, and even losing, a fair number of them even fear losing significant seats in the House.
So is there any blame to be shared with the RNC, the Republican National Committee, with these folks that you're polling? After all, it's the Republican National Committee that allowed this system to take its course when it began, back in June and July of last year. Specifically, I'm talking about the debates and allowing the mainstream media to control the narrative, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do they share the blame beyond Donald Trump?
Well, they set up a system that would reach a nominee more quickly than it has in the past. So certainly that helped Donald Trump, who had huge name recognition, had nationwide celebrity, and his message hit home right away, and the other candidates didn't have much of a chance to get their message out and respond. Okay,
so on this election, it's not just about the president, obviously. There are many Senate seats that are up for grabs, and the Democrats, under, I guess it'll be Chuck Schumer, could wrestle control of the United States Senate away from the Republicans. All it's going to take is 5 seats, 4 or 5 seats?
That's right, 4 or 5 seats, depending on who the next president is. If it's Donald Trump, then it would take, one less. But the Republican aides that we talk to are very fearful of losing those seats. There are 24 Republican seats up this year and only 10 Democrat seats. So it's a tough year for Republicans to begin with, and they have tough races in swing states like New Hampshire, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And so without a strong Republican at the top of the ticket, it could drag them down. They could very easily lose control of the Senate.
So it's a down ballot issue here. Do they feel as though it's because there's going to be a groundswell of support for the Democrat nominee? That would be probably Hillary Clinton, and therefore that'll drive more Democrats to the polls? Or are they fearing that Republicans are going to stay home?
Yes. I mean, these Republican aides that we talk to are creatures of the establishment, of course. They work here in Washington. They work for members of Congress. And so they have a conventional view of the electorate. They don't see the possibility that Donald Trump can expand the electorate in new ways and win a new Republican majority. They see the path to victory that George W. Bush followed in 2000 and 2004, and they don't see Trump being able to follow that path.
It's an amazing turn of events among these Republican aides, but you also polled Democrat aides. And it's completely opposite picture here. They are completely optimistic. Maybe their pessimism has grown into optimism. Why do they feel so strongly that they're going to perform well in November?
Well, they look at the electoral map, and they see that if you look at these states, that the Democratic candidate for president has won, going back to 1992, the first Bill Clinton victory. And you add states where Hispanics have grown in population, such as Florida, such as Colorado, such as Nevada. That's all they have to do, is win the states that they've won in the last 6 elections and add Florida or add Colorado and Nevada. It's a very simple path to victory for them. They just need to hold on to what they've won in the past. Republicans, it's a much more complicated path.
Right.
They either have to win all the swing states, or they have to open up states that they haven't won in 30 years, such as Pennsylvania or Michigan.
So despite a president that has created chaos in this country, has a wide open border, that is not doing anything about the genocide, really, of any note in the Middle East, who is now responsible for one of the worst economies on record, a president that hasn't even garnered a 3% GDP for the first time in modern history, none of that really matters. It boils down to the fact that these swing states and the Democrats have made gains in these certain key states.
Yeah, and you're explaining well the Republican viewpoint going into this, which was that they had a very good chance of winning the presidency. If you talk to these aides that we've been speaking with the last 6 months, 6 months ago they were feeling very confident. But they were of the mindset that they needed to nominate someone. They really wanted to nominate Marco Rubio. There was a subset that also liked Jeb Bush. They felt like those would be the best candidates to win states like Florida, to appeal to Hispanic voters in those states where they're growing, and to carry the requisite swing states to win a George W. Bush-style victory, which is a narrow victory through those swing states.
Well, this is a warning shot for the Republican Party, the RNC, all Republicans in this nation. You better pay attention to what the Democrats are doing, because they seem to have the winning formula. Shawn, thanks. Coming up next, immigration chaos and what to do about it as the Daily Ledger continues.